Hello, hello, SRL fans. We are to have sorted itself out now, so hopefully we can get underway and no more technical difficulties. My name is Sam, and today we are going to be doing round 3 of the Formula 1 World Championship here in SRL. It is COTA, it is Texas, and it's going to be very, very exciting to see who comes out on top here today. Just a quick run through the drivers before we get started. We have Dion Stahl once again competing for Scuderia Ferrari together with his teammate Sandro Dulles, the two coming off a joint podium in the GT3 series last week at Spa. So very, very good result for those two, and they are going to be looking to carry momentum into this race, so hopefully they can do that. Then we have Alexei Koivuniemi competing for Alpine once again, and he is going to be joined by his teammate Max Mulder, who had a very good race last time out in the Formula 1 World Championship, where he finished P5 as far as I remember correctly and scored 10 points, so that is very, very nice. Then we have the Mercedes pairing of Ivan Brito and Jerome Adamaco, who are going to be competing for Mercedes here today. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that goes along. Then we have reigning champion Jensen Randall, who once again steps into McLaren, and he is going to be partnered up by Ethiopian driver Freyab Bile, who once again takes the reins of the second McLaren as we are waiting for the countdown. We already spoke about Sandro Dulles. We have Thodoris Samanidis, who is going to be taking the place of Nick van Gelder here today, as Nick unfortunately could not make today's race, and he's going to be teaming up with Tim Ventink, who is currently, as far as I remember, leading the championship. So he's on a very good streak right now, as we are just getting into the session here at COTA, which is get going with the session, and hopefully we're going to have a good race here today. A lot of promise ahead of this race. This obviously was the race last season that produced the closest finish in SRL history, with Jerome Adamaco and Jensen Randall only being split by 88 thousandths of a second at the checkered flag. And in that case, it was Jensen Randall who came out on top. So a very, very exciting race, historically speaking, here in SRL. And hopefully it's going to be just as good here today. We're getting out on track. Let's see what we have in store. Really quickly, we're just gonna enable these few things here. There we go. But as I said, we have a couple of more drivers to run through. We have 19 drivers here today, so that is very exciting. We have Louis Quinlan once again stepping in to replace someone who unfortunately couldn't be here today. And today he is in the Aston Martin. So that's going to be very exciting. Jamie Jägerström once again in the Williams, and he is going to be partnered up by Nicolo Falsaresi. And the two Williams, they have had a pretty decent start to the season, not too bad. So hopefully they can continue their charge, and we'll see what it brings. Then we have Jack Richards, who once again will be substituting at Haas. And I do have to apologize for last time out in Bahrain, where I completely butchered his name for the entirety of the live stream. Called him Jack Rich. That is not his name. His name is Jack Richards. So there we go. We spoke about Tim Ventink briefly, and also about Ivan Brito. Someone we haven't seen this season, but is making his debut this season, or for this season. This is his first race for this season, is Jesper Lempinen in the V-Carb. So it'll be interesting to see what the Finn can do here. He has, historically speaking, been a pretty decent midfield driver, I want to say. He's won a couple of races, has gotten a few podiums, and hopefully for his sake he can find that form once again. That would be very good for him, I think. Then we have, let's see. We have Alex Benedicchetti, who once again is in the Kick Sauber. And we also saw Pablo Baz, I think that was. I do have to reference my driver list here, because there's a few drivers I tend to forget, unfortunately. Let's see that. That is Pablo Baz, who's going to be substituting at the other Kick Sauber, so that was correct. Finally, we have Andrea Latrella in the other V-Carb, who's going to be partnering up with Jesper Lempinen. So, interesting to see what they can do. As let's see who, we have a yellow flag in the final corner. That might just be because people are readying up. Let's see, really quick here. Find someone who's on their fast lap. Aleksi Koivuniemi starting his first flying lap here today. The Finn looking to potentially build on the success that Alpine had in Bahrain as he breaks off his lap. A bit of a mistake there. We catch Dion Stahl at the beginning of his lap. These first couple of corners very, very tricky. The fast S section inspired by the S's at Suzuka in Japan when they built this track back in the day. It'll be interesting to see how drivers cope with that, especially when we get into the Grand Prix and dirty air is going to become a factor as well. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1 that is just Koivuniemi letting other people past. So I think we might be seeing... Let's see, where is he? The final corner in the Haas. Ooh, big slide there from the Briton, but he is going to post the first flying lap of this session. And I think, is it Tim Venting? He has made a mistake and invalidated on his first flying lap. So it won't be him. Jesper Lempinen jumps to the front, a 1:34.2, and is immediately displaced by Jensen Randall at the top. Now Randall only picked up 1 point in his first race of the season at the Bahrain Grand Prix last time out, so he will be looking for revenge here today. Andrea Latrella slots into P2, Alex Benedicchetti slots into P3. So people are starting to set lap times right now, and it looks as if, well, at the moment it looks as if Jensen Randall has put down the bar to beat Jerome Adamaco. Right now making his way through the final parts of the lap. This triple right-hander here, very, very satisfying once you put it together into the final two corners. Doesn't track extend. That is something that we are probably going to be seeing a lot of. Both throughout qualifying and throughout the race. Adamaco, he was on his outlap, so we're just going to follow him here around his first flying lap into turn 1. Ooh, keeps it just within track limits there, runs a little bit deep. Now we go through the S's, these flowing corners. You have to be very careful not to track extend. Keeps it fairly planted, it would seem, the German. It's very good. Purple first sector. Freya Bile jumps to P3. Very good lap from the Ethiopian. People are starting to set the lap times. I think we're going to get a Ferrari over the line in a moment. There we go. Dion Stahl with his first flying lap at 1:43. So it's not going to be the fastest lap. And Adamaco making his way into the final sector in a moment. Purple second sector from the German. This could potentially be the fastest lap we have seen so far. It is a 1:31.648. That is the time to beat. Alexei Koivuniemi jumps to P2. A very good lap from the Alpine driver there. And here we go. Adamako, oh, just keeps it on the white line. And here we go, final corner. What is it going to be for the Mercedes driver? It is the best lap. He bests Jensen Randall just about by just over a tenth. So very good from Adamako there. And let's see everyone out on soft tires right now, understandably so. Let's pick up, who should we pick up? Let's pick up Dion Stahl as Sandro Dooley jumps to P3. Very good from the Ferrari man. And Stahl here on the way to potentially best his first attempt. Oh, just track extends on the penultimate corner there. That is definitely the trickiest place to keep it within track limits on this track, because you're going through so fast. But he's going to have to go for another run if he wants to have any hopes of improving his lap time. Meanwhile, we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. That is the two Mercedes cars. Stahl with the fastest first sector, it would seem, according to the track map. And I don't know how reliable that information is. Not that I doubt his skill. But we have seen it happen pretty much to everyone we have been on board with. Gets a very good run out of the hairpin. And onto the straight here, opens the DRS, and here we go. Let's see, what is this going to be? Goes very far to the right there to get as much rotation possibility into this corner, and here we go into the tricky final sector. This is where traction is key to your lap time. If you lose the car here on any of these exits, it could spell the end of your potential fastest lap. So far he's kept it clean, the Dutchman. Let's see if he can avoid a track extension here. Keeps it well within track limits. I don't know if he broke off his lap there. It seems like he might have done that. It comes across the line. It doesn't improve his lap time, unfortunately. Let's see, who else can we pick up? Jamie Jägerström out on track right now, preparing his first lap, the Danish driver. Let's see what the Williams can do. He has had a pretty decent start to the season, to be fair to him. Can continue the good work that he has put in so far. I believe at the moment he is sitting P6 in the driver's standings, so not too bad from the Williams. Meanwhile, he's heading into the final sector here. We have 7.5 minutes left of this qualifying session, and just over half of the grid hasn't posted a lap time yet. As we see, who was that? That would have been, I think that might have been Andrea Letrella who posted the lap time. Could be wrong. Anyway, here comes Jägerström through the penultimate corner. Keeps it within track limits. And through the final corner, Jensen Randall improves the time at the top. And Jägerström jumps to P8. So pretty decent. Max Mulder all the way up to P5. So very good from the Dutchman. Oh, sorry, that was the reason it moved was because of Thodoris Samanidis, who improved his lap time, and George Wilkes has just improved upon that, so he is currently sitting P4. It's very close here in the 132s at the moment. Meanwhile, we have, let's see if we can find the two Mercedes here. Ivan Brito has let his teammate past, it would seem. Let's pick up Adamako here. Going on to his flying attempt. See if he can best Jensen Randall on pole position. At the moment, him and Randall are the only two drivers to have broken into the 31 lap times. Everyone else is currently on a 32 or lower. And the majority of the grid now is out on track. So it'll be a little bit difficult to try and keep up. I believe we have, see, Alex Benedetti is heading into the pits. He might pick up, he's still in the pits. Let's pick up Samanides here. He's invalidated, or he's substituting for Nick van Gelder today, the Greek driver. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. He's been in the sister car for the first 2 rounds, so seems like Red Bull have found a pretty decent driver here to do a bit of substitute work. Let's see, who can we pick up? Let's pick up Dion Stahl. He's heading into the pits, it seems. As well. Pick up the other Ferrari here. He's currently sitting in P4, Sandro Dulis. Oh, big slide there coming out of the tricky left-hander in the final sector. Didn't look like that was anticipated by him. Had to catch it through the penultimate corner. Just keeps it within track limits. Jerome Adamako has improved the lap time out in front by just over 40 thousandths of a second at the moment. So it's very close out in front. And Dulis does not improve, it seems, on his lap time. But he is very close to Venting, who's currently sitting in P3. Meanwhile, Adamako, we just saw it on the timing screens, improved the fastest lap. So he is putting the hammer down here today. Let's see, catch up with Freya Bile in the McLaren. Let's see what he is doing. Whether he's on a fast lap or just an in or installation lap. Seems like he's on a fast lap. And he is... no, he's heading to the pits. George Wilkes currently in P6 at the moment. Doing pretty well for himself and Aston Martin. It's not too bad from the Briton. He's also heading to the pits. And then we catch up with Alexei Koivuniemi at the moment, P7. His teammate down in P9. He'll be looking definitely to potentially get... oh, as we see, bit of... ooh, that was very close between... I think that was Adamako and Koivuniemi. So... but it seems like everyone except Latrella at the moment are back in the pits. So people just getting ready for that final run at the moment. A lot of people on their outlaps here. It seems like Benedetti will be the first man to start a flying lap. So we'll catch up with him. We'll see what happens. So he is currently the leading driver in terms of people out on track. And he's closely followed by who I can only imagine would be Louis Quinlan. And then Ivan Brito behind him again. So the Colombian starts his final flying lap here. Let's see what he can do. Season 2 champion in the lime green Kicksauber into turn 1. Pretty decent run through there. Now he has to tackle the S section here. Very important to keep it within the white lines, not track extend. That looked pretty smooth from the Sauber driver. Now uphill here into this tricky left-hander. It's also one of the places where we see a lot of track extensions, but he's kept it within track limits so far. It's not something that lights up the timing tower, but it looks to be pretty decent. Yellow flag in sector 3, that is just people letting other people go. Into this heavy braking zone we go. nailed the apex there. And then we head into the final sector where, as we said before, it's all about traction. And Sandro Dooley's on the live chat saying he is pleased with his lap time. And that is understandable. He has retired from proceedings, doesn't think he can improve, and Benedetti invalidates his lap time. Ah, that's unfortunate. He heads into the pits. It's over for him. Let's pick up George Wilkes here. Can he improve on his lap time through the final corner? Let's see what the Aston Martin can do. He jumps ahead of Ivan Brito. Would be improving his lap time. Meanwhile, I believe we have Jensen Randall. No, he's invalidated, so he... yeah, he will be starting P2 for this race. Let's pick up Tim Ventink here. He's on a flying lap right now. Let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. He's posted a fastest second sector, so he's flying at the moment. We have yellow flags in both sector 1 and 2. That might be for Brito. Time has run out, so lap times are going to count now. Jerome Adamaco is finished. Let's see what Ventink can do. He's the only one who can upset the running order at the front, it would seem. Let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. Is it going to be an improvement, and what is it going to be? He's going to improve, but he is not going to go ahead of Jensen Randall or Jerome Adamaco. Let's pick up Freya Bile. See what the Ethiopian can do. Meanwhile, we have Dion Stahl coming across the line. He's not going to improve. So that's very unfortunate for the Dutch driver. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall heading into the pits. So we're watching Freya Bile here. He's going to catch a lot of traffic here. Hopefully he can navigate that without any trouble. Oh, just track extends there. So that's not going to be an improvement. Let's have a look. Anyone currently improving? Let's pick up Samanidis here in the other Red Bull. Can he get up there and help his teammate? Oh, just keeps it within track limits. That was very close from the Greek driver. And through the final corner, Samanidis, it's not an improvement. So he's going to be starting P8 for this Grand Prix. And that marks the end of qualifying for the United States Grand Prix. So Jerome Adamaco on pole position, just shy of 40 thousandths of a second ahead of Jensen Randall. And then we have Tim Ventink in P3, the only 3 drivers to crack into the 131s. And then he is closely actually followed by Sandro Dooley's in P4. We're going to get the running order in just a minute. So it's very close here in qualifying. But yeah, as I said, Jerome Adamaco on pole position ahead of Jensen Randall, followed by Tim Ventink, Sandro Dooley. Then it is Freya Bile in the other McLaren in P5. Then we have George Wilkes, Alexei Kovaniemi, Thodoris Samanitis, Max Mulder, and Andrea Letrella rounds out the top 10. And P11 goes to Jamie Jägerström, followed by Alexei Kovaniemi, Jack Richards, Louis Quinlan, Ivan Brito, Jesper Lempinen, Dion Stahl, and then we have Pablo Bas. And rounding out the grid today is going to be Nicola Falsaresi in the Williams. I don't think he posted a lap time, actually, the Italian. So that's very unfortunate for Williams. But now we are going to get into the race. I believe it is 28 laps around this beautiful venue here in the Lone Star State. So we're just waiting for drivers to get their preparations done, set their strategies, and fuel the car accordingly to what they expect that we are going to be running. And in terms of strategy, I've heard a lot of talk about high tire wear, especially on the medium tires here today. So we could most likely be looking at a 2-stop. I wouldn't even rule out a 3-stop potentially working if we get some well-placed safety cars. But that remains to be seen. But according to what I've heard and what the majority of the drivers have been speaking about, it seems like the two-stop is the favored strategy here today. But we'll just see. Let's wait and see in terms of tire strategy. Everyone except Pablo Baz down in P18 will be starting on the medium tires. So very similar strategy. And let's have a look. Any interesting details that we should pull up? Let's just we'll leave it off for now. But Jerome Adamaco is going to lead us away on this formation lap, and he is followed by the McLaren of Jensen Randall in P2. Again, a very close qualifying here today, so that's always nice to see. Then it is Tim Ventink in the Red Bull, who is keeping his hopes high. He's just coming off another victory in the GT3 series, so hopefully he can carry that momentum. Similarly for Sandro Dulis in the Ferrari, coming off a very strong finish together with his teammate in Spa. First double podium for those two together in SRL history, so that's very interesting. I would have believed that we would have seen them up there together before, but apparently not. Anyway, Frère Billet in the other McLaren is down in P5, and he is followed by the Aston Martin of George Wilkes. And it is Koivuniemi in P7, Samanidis in P8, Max Mulder in P9, again a very strong qualifying from the Dutchman. And then we have Andrea Latrella in the V-Carb rounding out the top 10. We have Jägerström in P11, Benedicchetti in P12, Jack Richards in the Haas, the only Haas here today in their home Grand Prix, so hopefully he can do a very solid job for the American outfit. Then we have Louis Quinlan again substituting, this time at Aston Martin. We have Ivan Brito, Jesper Lempinen. Won't be too happy with his first qualifying of the year, but hopefully he can make it up in the race. He is followed by Dion Stahl, Pablo Baz, and then, as we said before, Nicola Falsaresi, the only driver not to set a lap time. And as predicted, the game also thinks that we are going to have a two-stop strategy. But let's wait and see what happens. Just waiting for the rest of the drivers to line up on the grid. There we go. We are going to be focusing on the front trio here of Adamaco, Randall and Ventink. Here we go. Green flags are flying, the lights are shining. The Lone Star Grand Prix here at Kota goes green here. And Adamaco gets a pretty decent jump, it seems. Covers off Randall. Randall goes for the inside. And it's very touch and go. Randall takes the lead of the United States Grand Prix. Sandro Dulis had a very solid start and is up to P3. And he is followed by Frère Billet in the other McLaren. Tim Ventink battling away with George Wilkes in the Aston Martin. And he didn't have a very solid start there. We have a caution in the S's. I believe that might be Dion Stahl or... I don't really know. There's a lot of chaos here in the mid-pack. There seems to be a lot of fighting here as well. As Ivan Brito goes for a move on Pablo Baz, or is it the other way around? It seems like it was the other way around. Tim Ventink has dropped a lot of positions here. He's battling away with the left-hander. Let's see into the final sector. They're side by side. And Ventink seems to have struggled to fire up the medium tires here at the beginning. He's been overtaken by his teammate for today, Samanidis in the other Red Bull. So he's dropped a couple of positions here on the start of this race. But hopefully, for his sake, he can claw his way back. It'll be interesting to see. Meanwhile, Samanidis lining up a move potentially on Alexei Koivuniemi here for P6. Oh, sorry, that's not Koivuniemi, that's Max Mulder. We saw these two have a great battle in Bahrain. Meanwhile, oh, there's contact between the two Red Bulls. Tim Venting loses his front left end plate on the back of Samanides' Red Bull. And that's just going to make things even more difficult for the Dutchman here today. Front wing damage at this track. That's not going to be good for him to run so low downforce here at this track. And you can see he's struggling. He has lost touch with his teammate out in front, and Louis Quinlan seems to be mounting an attack here. We have a move for P14. A bit of a battle actually going on between Falsaresi and Lempinen. Lempinen losing 2 positions there. Venting seems to be covering off. Here we go, Max Mulder versus Samanides. This is the American edition. Ooh, bit of a touch there it would seem from the Red Bull driver. And Max Mulder defends that P6 for now. But they've lost a bit of time. Tim Venting and George Wilkes are back into it. Wilkes, sorry, that's not Wilkes, that's Quinlan, is on the back of Venting here, spying to see if there potentially could be a move for P8. Venting, you can see him struggling with the understeer. Jack Richards picks up a 3-second time penalty. Jensen Randall posts the fastest lap of the race so far. Meanwhile, we see a move, for P6. Samanides trying to go around the outside. This is a brilliant move if he pulls this off. Oh, take a bow. Samanides goes around the outside. And I think we might have a... Yeah, I think we might have a virtual safety car at the moment. Ivan Brito has been disqualified. Ooh, I did see him parked down in turn 1. I wonder what's gone on here for the Portuguese driver. Didn't quite catch that. We were watching the battle between Samanides and Mulder. So Ivan Brito has been disqualified by the game for parking in a dangerous position down in turn 1. I do wonder if he beached the car and that's why he has been retired by the game. We're back up to racing speeds. We're going to sit on board here with Adamako as he looks to potentially pick a move on Jensen Randall. This overhead shot is beautiful as we go through the triple right-hander. These two have struck away from Dooley's in P3 at the moment, so a very good restart from the front two. They are pulling clear. DRS has been enabled, so Adamako is going to have a chance here into turn 1. Let's see what he does. Stays behind the McLaren for now. Doesn't eye his chances. Potentially down the back straight we might see a move for the lead. Who knows? Meanwhile, there's a lot of battling going on in the mid-pack at the moment. Venting has also made it past Max Mulder. So the Red Bull pairing slowly making their way through the field, it seems. It'll be interesting to see where they both finish after this race has concluded. But let's see here, Adamako, he is within DRS range of Randall in front. Let's see what he can do. The flap is going to open up here and he's going to have a long toe. I do wonder if he was close enough. It doesn't seem like it. Nope, that's going to have to wait for another lap at least. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a train going on here for P3. Dooley is pulling a train consisting of George Wilkes, Alexei Koivuniemi, and actually also Thodoris Samanides is slowly making his way towards this battle. Meanwhile, we have a battle here between Max Mulder and Louis Quinlan. So Mulder dropping a few positions here. Looks like maybe the tire wear starting to kick in for some of these drivers. A little bit loose there from the Alpine. He's currently Still within... Ooh, as he almost drops it there, Mulder. Loses the position to Quinlan. He's down to P9. We've seen very mature driving from Mulder this season, so I wasn't expecting a repass for that position. Meanwhile, Freya Bile currently under pressure from both Williams drivers, and that train is being led by Nicola Falsaresi as Max Mulder picks up the first penalty, apart from Jack Richards, of this race. I'm expecting to maybe see a few penalties, as it seems like Freya got a bit shaky out of the top corner there. Falsaresi makes his way past the Ethiopian. And that will be interesting to see if they can work together to maybe get Jägerström through on the McLaren as well. Meanwhile, we have a battle for P3. George Wilkes has made his way past Sandro Doolis and is currently running P3. He's going to be pulling this train consisting of 4 cars. Be interesting to see what he now can do. If he is faster than Doolis, he is building a small gap, it seems. But that could also just be the difference in setup. Maybe Wilkes just has a little bit more downforce and Doolis has a little bit more straight line speed. Or vice versa. Who knows? Louis Quinlan picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to do him any favors if he hopes to finish at a high position. He's currently running P9 ahead of Falsaresi. Oh, and Freya Bile has retired. What has gone on here? Let's see if we can find him. We can actually not spectate him. Oh, I do wonder, has he crashed into the pit wall? It doesn't seem like it. He might just have retired in the pit lane. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so we are down to 17 drivers at the moment. Interesting why he decided to call it a day just now, but maybe we'll hear afterwards. Meanwhile, George Wilkes hasn't broken that 1 second gap to Doolis at the moment. We have a good battle here going on behind them. It is Samanidis who's made his way past Koivuniemi for P5. But it looks like Koivuniemi might be going for a repass on the Red Bull. I think's better of it. Meanwhile, in the back, Max Mulder. Ooh, that is very close between him and Falsaresi. And these two will be looking to lose as little time as possible. Ooh, Max Mulder almost losing the car, and Quinlan thinking about a potential move there on the Dutchman. This is a very close fight. It seems like Mulder has dropped a bit of pace here, unfortunately. He's dropping quite fast, as a matter of fact. He's still keeping with Falsaresi in front of him. We see Quinlan trying a different line there to potentially get a better run on the Alpine. It doesn't seem like it worked that time. It wasn't too bad of an attempt. It doesn't seem like Mulder has the traction that is necessary at the moment. And he's losing a lot of time, especially through high-speed corners. You can see here, he's losing a lot of time to Falsaresi, and Wilkes almost run... Oh, sorry, I keep confusing the Aston Martins. Quinlan almost running into the back of him. And Falsaresi slowly making his way towards the train in front of him. As we see, is there going to be a move here from Quinlan? Thinks better of it. He's going to get the DRS. Oh, Mulder drops the car. Did he swipe the front wing on the Aston Martin there? Doesn't look like there's damage. But here comes Quinlan. And he goes for the pass. Is this going to be an easy move? Looks as if... Oh, Mulder actually, to be fair to him, keeps the nose in. Manages to keep the position. But the switchback from Quinlan is absolutely beautiful. And we're going to see a double switchback. Quinlan picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, but he does the triple switchback and he gets past Mulder. The tire wear seems to be picking up slightly as Venting picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that could be a bit of a problem for him, in hopes of potentially making a comeback this race. So far, to be fair, we have seen pretty clean driving standards. Inventing right now sitting behind his substitute teammate for today. Koivuniemi made it past Samanidis again for P5. And they are currently running a train consisting of, I think it's only 3 drivers, isn't it? It is. So Koivuniemi at the moment pulling the 2 Red Bulls along. Meanwhile, in front of them, we see the pair of Wilkes and Doolis currently trying to work together to maybe just stretch their legs a little bit here in this stage of the Grand Prix. They seem to be doing a pretty decent job. Meanwhile, Samanidis thinking about a move there on the Alpine. Doesn't seem likely. The question is, when are we going to see the first couple of pit stops? Because strategy could play into the finishing order of this race here today with the high tire wear. And whoever is capable of protecting their tires could potentially gain a pretty decent advantage, as a matter of fact. So that remains to be seen. So far we haven't seen anyone make a scheduled pit stop. And I don't think we have seen anyone make any pit stops. Pablo Bas is the only driver who have made a pit stop so far. But I'm not sure that was a scheduled pit stop. As we look at the positions gained or lost. At the moment it is Falsaresi in P8 who is the winner of today in terms of most positions gained. He's gained 11 spots so far. As Samanidis picks up a 3-second time penalty through the S section. So we cut to Sandra Dooley's slowly trying to find a way past, maybe on the Aston Martin of Wilkes. And in terms of positions lost, it is currently Tim Venting who is the unfortunate occupant of that stat. We have, as we see, everyone on medium tires, so there's not really much going on right now. Oh, as I say that though, we see Tim Venting making his way past Samanidis. Here comes Falsaresi. Is he gonna swoop past as well? And is he... oh, he's going to have to go the long way around. Oh, there's a bit of contact there, I think. But Falsaresi makes his way past Samanidis. A beautiful move around the outside. And just seemed like he had better traction than the Red Bull. And he will now be looking at the other Red Bull of Tim Venting. Oh, Samanidis, a big snap there. And he is going to be the first driver to head for pit road in today's Grand Prix. And what are we going to see in terms of strategy here? We're just going to stay on board with Samanidis. He is jumping onto the hard tire. So that's interesting. Maybe he is going for the one stop. It seems like it could be. Maybe a potential for a one stop. Who knows? Max Mulder at the moment, he has the company of Jamie Jägerström behind him. So the Williams are slowly making their way back into this race. It'll be interesting to see what they can do. Falsaresi has caught the back of Tim Venting here in P6. So let's see what the Italian can do. He's going to have DRS down this straight, and so far we have only seen very, very awesome moves from the Italian, so I wouldn't imagine anything else. He pulls out of the slipstream and goes past Tim Venting. Easy as that. And now he might have his eyes set on the Alpine for P5 in front of him. He is very, very slowly but surely making his way forward as the other Williams of Jägerström makes it past Max Mulder for P7. Oh, big snap there from Jägerström, and we can actually see he's missing the front right end plate on his front wing. So at the moment, it seems like the Williams pairing has a very solid amount of pace over the rest of the grid. We can see Falsaresi has already caught the back of Koivuniemi. So he is very slowly making his way forwards. We see a gap has actually formed out in front between Adamako and Randall. 3.2 seconds. Louis Quinlan picks up another time penalty as we see a lot of drivers into the pits here. Let's see if we can figure out who that is. Max Mulder is definitely going to be one of them. He straps on, I think they might be on the, yeah, they go to the hard tires. So it seems like the majority of people here today are going for a one-stop potentially. But who knows, maybe a unforeseen safety car could throw things into disarray here at COTA today. Let's wait and see for that. Meanwhile, Falsaresi has made his way past Koivuniemi for P5, and the Italian is on a mission right now. He has 3.3 seconds up to the Ferrari of Dulis for P4. So we see Jensen Randall heads into the pits, and he is followed by Adamako behind him. Wilkes goes into the pits, so does Dulis. Falsaresi continues for another lap. So it seems like he has got the tire wear under control here today. At least for the medium tires. He's making it work, and he is currently running in P2. And the safety car right now would do him wonders for the rest of the race. Meanwhile, we see a couple of drivers in the mid-pack make their first pit stops, with Jägerström, Latrella and Quinlan all being in the pits right now. And Jägerström, let's pick him up. I think he lost a couple of positions there on the pit exit. He is just ahead of Max Mulder down in P13. He's currently behind Jack Richards in the Haas. So he will be looking to make short work of the Briton. It'll be interesting to see how quick he can make his way back, and whether or not he actually fixed his front wing. It seems he did, so that might have been the reason why he lost a couple of positions. He had to do a front wing swap. So the Dane will be on his move now. Let's wait and see what he can do. Meanwhile, Dulis in P5 currently due to Falsaresi not making his pit stop yet. As Jensen Randall into the pits. Might have mistook him for pitting on the previous lap. That was obviously not correct. He's not pitting again. It's going to be a bit closer between him and Jerome Adamako. Randall comes out in front. Yeah, he keeps P1 for now. Now Falsaresi is going to drop to P5, it would seem. He's going to drop a couple of positions, actually. Oh, comes out right ahead of Samanidis here. Oh, Samanidis almost losing the car. And he's gone to the hard tires as well. So it seems like it's a very simple one-stop strategy for today's race, even though the game predicted a potential two-stop. But Falsaresi at the moment, a driver to watch. He's not going to be potentially challenging for the victory unless a safety car gets called out. But he could be maybe on for a podium here today. A good P3 for him, considering that he started at the bottom of the grid. This would be very, very solid from him if he can make his way all the way to P3. Meanwhile, out in front, Adamako has gotten back into DRS range of Randall. Let's see if he can keep it there, or maybe even set up a battle between them for the victory. Oh, Randall makes a huge mistake there, going through the penultimate corner. Seems like he caught the curb the wrong way there. And Adamako will be looking at a move here. Sets the fastest lap of the race. Does he go for the move? Nah, not quite. He's too far back, it would seem. Meanwhile, Falsaresi about to do the same stretch of road as the two in front just did. He doesn't go for the move either on Koivuniemi. And what is the tire deficit on these drivers? Let's have a look. It's only one lap in favor of Falsaresi, so it's not too bad for Koivuniemi. As Koivuniemi picks up a 3-second time penalty, that is just going to be for corner cutting. Meanwhile, Adamako lost a bit of that advantage that he gained on Randall through the mistake from the McLaren man. Doesn't seem like he has the overspeed to get past Randall. We're currently on lap 14 of 28, so laps are slowly ticking down. And if something is going to come off it, he's going to have to do it soon, you would think. But who knows? At the moment, it seems like the race has just settled down ever so slightly from all of the action we had just before the pit stop sequence. We still have a battle here for P5 between Koivuniemi and Falsaresi. At the moment, it seems Koivuniemi is just able to keep himself at a comfortable distance to the Italian behind him, who gets a bit of a wiggle out of the final corner there. What are we going to see from Falsaresi into turn 1? He's not close enough, unfortunately. Meanwhile, out in front, Adamako has closed the gap ever so slightly. It opens up here as we go on to the straights. So it seems like Adamako is running a bit more downforce than Randall. But these two are still glued to each other, still within DRS range is Adamako. As we go into the hairpin here, a bit of a lock-up from Randall there. That's not going to do his tyres any favour towards the end of the race. But saying that, Adamako was the one out of these two who made the pit stop first. So we see a move for P5. Falsaresi making his way past Koivuniemi. And now his eyes are promptly set on P4. He's got 5 seconds just about to close down to Sandro Dulis in front of him. But if his pace so far this race has been anything to go by, I would imagine that shouldn't be a problem for the Italian. But that remains to be seen, obviously. He has had the benefit so far of the people that he has been making his way past, that they have been battling also. And currently Dulis and Wilkes are not really battling towards each other. They're just running, just separated by just about 2 seconds between the P3 and P4 at the moment. Meanwhile, we have a move here. Well, that's Max Mulder heading into the pits again. Might have picked up some damage there. Meanwhile, Jägerström currently in P12, hunting down Jesper Lampinen. Tim Benting picks up another 3-second time penalty. I don't exactly know what that does for his chances of potentially keeping P8. Falsaresi picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, that could maybe set a stop to his podium dreams. Unless Dulis or Wilkes picks up a penalty as well. That is definitely not what he needed in his pursuit for P3, potentially. Saying that though, he has not really been able to close down the gap to Dulis over this past lap. It still sits around 5 seconds. So I do wonder if the pace we saw at the beginning of the race for Falsaresi. Whether that was just due to him being more comfortable with the medium tire or what that was, who knows. Meanwhile, out in front, they are still only separated by a couple of tenths. These two. You would think now that the victory is going to be between these two. Well, I almost said specimen of racing drivers. Well, they kind of are. They are definitely, in terms of driver skills. Adamaco ever so slightly closer this time, going out on the back straight, as we see Jack Richards retire in the pit lane. That is very unfortunate, especially considering that he is running in the Haas, and this being their home track. So that is definitely not what they would have liked for today. But I think he had just a bit too many penalties to really make anything of it, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll see him back soon for another race. He's definitely been doing a good job so far this season, competing mainly for Haas. But that is just why we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. It is due to the AI. As we see, Adamaco doesn't go for the move, but he is right there on Randall's diffuser. It'll be interesting to see what he can do now, if the dirty air is going to be too much for him through the S sections here. Keeps it about at 6/10. It opens up a bit of a gap through the S section. He drops about half a second due to the dirty air through the S section. So it makes it a little bit more tricky for him, it would seem, to maybe set up the move. The gap right now 8/10 to the leading driver. So makes it a little bit tricky, it would seem. But they are slowly, I think, pulling away from P3 George Wilkes at the moment. Slowly building a gap. The gap is now up to 11.6 seconds to the Aston Martin. So there's no contest from behind, it would seem. And Dulles behind again. It seems like he also just settling down for P4 maybe. We see a swap between the Red Bull pairing here. Tim Venting being given the pass on Samanides. Let's just take a quick look on penalties. At the moment, Venting is sitting on 6 seconds worth of penalties. And that makes things a little bit more tricky going up against Koivuniemi and Falsaresi, who currently only both have 3 seconds worth each. And the same goes for Samanides. So be interesting to see what happens here as Samanides heads into the pits. So and he is going back to the medium tires. So maybe we are seeing a 2-stop here. We have 9 laps to go. So there's not a long way until the end. But that promotes Latrella and Jägerström, and actually also Lempinen and Pablo Bas ahead of him. So he's going to have his work cut out for him. And we see that is Max Mulder retiring from today's Grand Prix in the pit lane. Just didn't work out for the Dutchman here today, which is very unfortunate. And he'll be looking to bounce back, hopefully. Pablo Bas picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running P12 at the moment. Race, as I said before, settling down ever so slightly. Falsaresi has started to eat into the lead that Dulles has on him. It's down to 3.9 seconds now. So maybe over the last couple of laps we can maybe see a fight break out for P4. Who knows? As We see a move for P11 there. That is going to be between Baz and Lempinen, and we have Samanidis right behind, trying to get past the sister car. Oh, he tries to go for the outside. Usually not a place where you go for a move into the penultimate corner. But props to him for trying to get a move there. He's going to see if he can make his way past Lempinen here into turn 1. Goes for the inside, and that should be a pretty decent and easy move. And he now sets his sight on Baz in the kick Sauber in front of him. It closes right up to the back of the Sauber instantly, so you can see the difference in tyres right there as Quinlan picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running P8. So he might be on... Currently he might be on 12 seconds if my memory serves me correctly. Which could be a bit of trouble for him in terms of staying in the points. But we'll see about that. Let's see, here comes Samanidis. He's definitely going to be moving past the kick Sauber here into the heavy braking zone, and he is now up into P11. And he sets his sight on Jägerström right in front of him to see if he can clinch a points-paying position. You can just see the difference in grip here from, well, tyres that have gone pretty much half a race distance compared to fresh tyres. And even though, and that taken into consideration, you also have to look at the tyre compound, with Samanidis being on the medium tyres. So we would expect him to go past Jägerström here into turn 1. He pulls out of the slipstream. Oh, and tucks heavy. That's very aggressive move there from Samanidis. Tucks back in ahead of Jägerström. And he's now up into P10. And now he needs to clear the Dane by a couple of seconds due to that penalty. But if the pace is anything to go by, that shouldn't be a problem. His next target is going to be Andrea Latrella in P9. So it'll be interesting to see what Samanidis can get out of this race here. As we see Falzaresi and Koivuniemi, they still just about running 4 seconds off Dulis in P4. So we might not even get a battle for P4. A battle we might see start brewing though is this one for P1. Jerome Adamaco has just been sitting behind for the majority of the race, pretty much since he lost the lead on lap 1. And he might be trying to suss out a move to get past Jensen Randall and win this race. As I said before, they are slowly building a gap on the people behind them. Gap now down to George Wilkes is up to 14.7 seconds. My mistake. So there's no contest from behind. So it's just going to be between these two today. Tim Benting has, unfortunately, both through some unfortunate penalties and some unfortunate luck. As we see a move for the lead, Jerome Adamaco goes for... Oh, that's the wrong way. Oh, gets pushed off the track. And that is peak FOM camera work by me. That is my mistake. But Adamaco, briefly ahead of Jensen Randall. But the Briton manages to keep the position for now. Adamaco just running off the circuit there. Maybe misjudging his braking point ever so slightly. But he's going to have to save up a bit of ERS and have a go again. There's still 6 laps to go in this race so far as Samanidis makes his way past Latrella for P9. So we are going to keep one eye on this lap, on this battle right here, and then another eye on Samanidis, who's currently making his way through the field. But that was the first time this race we've seen Adamaco really trying to go for a move on Randall. And if I know Adamako correctly, that's not going to be the last time we're going to see him try to go for a move. But let's wait and see. He's going to have to slowly but surely maybe build up a bit more battery before he can attack again. It also gives Randall a bit of a chance to find his bearings and maybe try and come up with an answer to Adamako. You can see him closing down the straight. Oh, big lockup there from Adamako. It seems like Adamako might be running a bit of a lower downforce setup. He's closing a lot in the straight line on Randall, but that could also just be due to the DRS just giving him that more straight line speed. But we are definitely not done here. So if you are thinking about going away and maybe watching something else, don't, because this is just about to get a bit more spicy. We start lap 24 of this contest. Adamako currently running in P2 behind Jensen Randall. But judging by the move we saw a couple of laps ago, Adamako might have a trick up his sleeve, who knows. He's staying with Randall through the S's here. Ever so slightly time loss here. Gap goes up to 7.3 tenths. But he's close, he is very close. Our gap jumps a little bit again, maybe a bit better traction for Randall. Let's see what he can do here, Adamako. He's too far back this time. But he has the DRS advantage. Maybe he's saving. We see a lock up there for Randall. So he's also pushing to stay ahead of the German. You can see him looking in the mirrors, trying to figure out where is Adamako. Is he going for a move? But at the moment, it's status quo for today's proceedings. We see here, yeah, it's just about 8 tenths when they get onto the DRS straights. So protecting his lead. He's definitely, well, I almost said he's definitely experienced, but of course he is. He's a 4-time champion, so he would definitely, of anyone on this grid, know how to do this. Koivaniemi picks up a 3-second time penalty. I don't know if that's going to do anything for his finishing position. Meanwhile, Samanidis has made his way into P8. Just made it past Louis Quinlan. So the Red Bull man is on a move as we see Adamako. Well, that could be the end of that. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. We knew he was pushing, but that is going to make things a lot more difficult for the German. And has he just relinquished the victory to Jensen Randall here today with that unfortunate penalty? Oh, he's going aggressive now. You see him locking up the front left there into the heavy braking zone. As Louis Quinlan picks up another 3-second time penalty. That might just be it for today, unless Randall picks up a 3-second time penalty. And we have seen him run off track a couple of times today, especially into this corner. He made a mistake on one of the opening laps, running a bit wide. I don't know whether he picked up a warning from that, but you would think that he can relax a little bit more now, heading on to lap 26 out of 28. This has given a huge advantage to Randall. We see Adamako showing himself in the mirrors there, trying to maybe put Randall off. But it doesn't seem like it works. He's going to go all in now, Adamako, to try and see if he can get it. We see him maybe cutting a corner there. And he's It's very close right now. We see Randall, he's able to just stabilize the gap ever so slightly. The gap is back up to 8/10 heading on to the DRS straight. And we know that it's very unlikely that Adamako is going to make a move from this far back. Doesn't look likely. It's not able to be this time. And he's running out of laps to do it. And even so, if he makes it past Randall, he's also going to have to pull a 3-second gap. And with all due respect to Adamako, Randall just seems to have the pace today. As Jägerström picks up a 3-second time penalty, he's currently in P12. It's not going to do much for him, I think, in terms of finishing position. But that penalty for Adamako might just have pulled the plug on this battle for today's race. Right now, George Wilkes still running in P3, but you can see behind, Doolis is slowly, I think, catching up. He is there if Wilkes makes a mistake, maybe picks up a penalty. And the gap is slowly making its way down. As we see Falsaresi hasn't really been able to make a move. Speaking of moves, we might see one here from Tim Venti. No. Oh, oi! I almost said he almost thought better of it, but it seemed like he misjudged his braking point a bit there. It didn't seem like they touched. Samanidis picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that probably puts an end to his charge through the field today, as far as I know. But who knows? Meanwhile, we see here Koivuniemi hasn't been dropped by Falsaresi ever since the Italian made it past him. So he's done very well to keep himself within striking distance of the Williams. Are we going to see a move from Tim Venting here? No. Unfortunately for him, he's not close enough. As we see the roll hoop cam here on the Red Bull. And I must say, he doesn't have much going for him this race. It's been a pretty poor showing from Tim Venting, but that helmet, that's a beauty. So that's a 10 out of 10 from me. Anyway, enough about the helmets and their paints. We are on the final lap of this race. Jerome Adamako, it looks like it's fizzling out for him. It doesn't look like he has what it required just today. And from a pretty poor showing at the first Grand Prix in Bahrain, where he only picked up 1 point, it looks as if Jensen Randall might be picking up all 25 points here today to start his campaign to try and defend that title. Saying that, Adamako really showing himself. Oh, he goes for a move here. Is he going to try it? Oh, thinks better of it. You saw the wiggle. Him working the wheel. Maybe he should have gone for it. Who knows? Oh, he tries. Oh, nope. It is not enough for Adamako. He took the lead on lap 1, and I'm pretty sure he's led every single lap since then. Adamako track extends like crazy, but it doesn't matter. Jensen Randall comes through the final corner, and he kicks off his winning streak for this season. Adamako comes home in P2. Very solid job considering that it looked difficult today. Let's put it that way. And George Wilkes in the Aston Martin has been able to keep the attacks from Sandro Doolis at bay, and he comes home to pick up a very, very respectable P3. Doolis home in P4. Then we have Falsaresi, who honestly, he is my vote for driver of the day. He started from the back of the grid. And what did I see there? Who was that? It looked interesting. Might be something that stewards have to look at. Koivuniemi home in P6, and then it is Tim Venting in P7. Dodores Samanidis, after that late pit stop, makes his way to P8, but that is going to be demoted to P9 because Andrea Latrella doesn't have as many time penalties. So he picks up P8, and then it is Pablo Bas in P10 who picks up the final point here today, and then it is Jamie Jägerström, Louis Quinlan, Jesper Lempinen finishes P13, then it is Dion Stahl in P14, and Alex Benedicchetti is going to be the final driver around the final corner here today. But Jensen Randall, take a bow, a man who I for a fact know that he was very, very unhappy with his race last time out in Bahrain, and to bounce back like that, you just have to take a bow and say well done. So he picks up the victory here today. Jerome Adamaco home in P2. That's probably the best he could have done, considering that Jensen Randall looked pretty solid out in front. And then, as I said, a very, very nice podium for George Wilkes and the Aston Martin squad. But unfortunately, a potential fight for the victory was taken away from us when Adamaco picked up that 3-second time penalty, but until then it looked pretty even between the two. So Jensen Randall, race winner of today. Fastest lap goes to Jerome Adamaco, driver of the day, according to the game, Falsaresi. I can jump on board that one. Most overtakes, also Falsaresi, and cleanest driver, George Wilkes. So this is how the provisional standings look in terms of the finishing order. Randall wins ahead of Adamaco, then it is Wilkes, Dulis, Falsaresi, Koivuniemi, Venting, Latrella, Samanidis, and rounding out the points is going to be Pablo Bas in the Kick Sauber picking up a point. So that is the end of today's race, and what a race it was. A lot of moves and a lot of overtakes as well, actually. Especially from Nicolo Falsaresi. He started from the back of the grid and made his way all the way up to P5. So a very solid drive for him. And yeah, there's not really much to talk about in terms of controversial things here. It was a pretty clean race and pretty decent racing. So you just have to commend that from the drivers. They did very solidly today. So there's not much more to say to that at the moment. But yeah, as I said, it is provisional race results. If you want the official race results, because there can obviously be a couple of penalties handed out afterwards, who knows. I would highly suggest that you head over to Instagram and follow us on @SRL_F1, because all of the penalties that will be dished out afterwards, if there is any, will be announced over there. So in order not to miss it, then I would highly suggest that you head over to Instagram. And there's going to be a bit of a break in terms of the racing here on the SRL YouTube channel. I can see that the next race is round 4 of the Formula 1 World Championship, and we are heading to the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and that is November 1st. So mark that down in your calendars so that you don't miss it. But that's pretty much going to be it for today, as far as I am aware. It was, as I said, pretty clean today, and pretty decent racing, to be fair. Lots of overtakes. So hopefully we can see something like that once we get back to proceedings in a couple of weeks. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. And as I said, head over to Instagram, follow us there for all of the latest news in SRL, Formula 1, and also in the GT series. My name is Sam. It has been a pleasure to do commentary here today. And until we see each other again, I wish you a very lovely day. And see ya.